Hey folks, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. It's been a while, hasn't it? Hey, let's talk about setting up a seed starting station with grow lights and shelving. Well, here I am working up in a spare bedroom in my house where I'm going to have my seeds beginning right here, starting on these shelves. And I wanted to show you what I'm doing and take you along for the ride. It's been a while, and I told you originally several weeks ago that I was taking a sabbatical from the garden because it's so hot outside. The garden's, it's not a good gardening season in the middle of August. And I told you I was going to kind of raise everything to the ground with the flame weeder, cover it with a tarp, and we'd be back planting in there, in early October. And that's still the plan, but I didn't get around to raising the garden or covering it with a tarp, so it's still a big weedy mess. Things have happened in life, you know how it goes, which required me to be away from the garden. And well, we got to get going. We got to get planning. We got to get talking about seed starting for fall. So I'll eventually get out there and clear that garden, but it is just kind of resting. It is just kind of not doing anything. But for now, I got to think about seeds. So let's look at what we're doing here. I've chosen a room in my house, a bedroom actually, to install one of these 4-foot wide modular shelf systems. And we put it together today, and very sturdy, very strong. It's on wheels and it rolls around. And you can lock those wheels in place, or you can choose to not put them on wheels. These run about $100 to $120, these shelves, and I can't get far back enough to get the whole thing. There we go. These things run about $100 to $120. I'm sure you could find them cheaper. I had mine delivered by Amazon. It comes with 3 additional shelves, not just the 4 I've chosen to use, but that's all I need. I want to have 2 levels of lights, and I can expand to a 3rd level in the future if I so choose. So that's the shelving unit that we're going to use for my seed starting station. Let's take a look at the lights. One thing we want to look for when choosing lights for starting seeds and for growing plants is the brightness of the light. And the second thing we want to look for is the color of the light. Lighting is gauged by, its brightness is gauged in the unit lumens. And for growing seeds, you want something that is higher up, because the light that is required for growing plants is much more than you would think. Look for a light that is at the bare minimum 3,000 lumens or higher. My lights are 4,500 for each little strip, and that's a good measure of light. That's a good amount of light that will be hitting the plant. If you can get something that's up in the 6,000 range, you're doing even better. But I've chosen 4,500 lumens per strip of light. That's how much light it puts out. And the more light you have, the further away your lights can be from your plants. If you've got lower lumens in your lights, you want those lights to be just right above those seedlings. And that's where the question of heat comes in. If your lights are putting out a lot of heat, like my T5 fluorescent bulbs used to, you would have to kind of play that balancing game of being close to the plants, but not so close that it's going to dry them out and kill them. And I've done that on numerous occasions. So get you a bright 3,000 or above lumens set of lights. The second consideration we need to look at when choosing growing lights and seed starting lights is the temperature, the color temperature, we think about it as the color of the light. And that color temperature means that what wavelengths are present in that white light, from the spectrum, from the ultraviolet end all the way to the infrared end. There's the visible spectrum in there, and it's made up of different wavelengths. The measure of that color is called temperature, and it's measured in units called Kelvin. And so when you look at your light, you'll see daylight or warm light, but don't look at that. Look for the Kelvin measure. It'll say that this is measured in Kelvin units. And what you want to look for is the higher number in the 6,000 range. The Kelvin units that measure the color of sunlight is 5,770 something. So you want to get something close to that. Higher Kelvin, you want to get something that is a daylight replicating the sun. So 6,000, 6,500. My lights are 6,500 Kelvin. They're a very bright white sunlight daylight. That's what you want to look for. All right. Let's see what we got here. Chains, very important. Instructions, very important when dealing with electrical equipment. You want to read those instructions even if you kind of know what you're doing, just to make sure. Now, these are LED lights, but they appear to have tubes. But that's just a plastic, I believe that's just a plastic covering and diffuser. Very thin, extremely thin. I think I like what I'm seeing. Let's see if they fit. Yeah, they'll fit perfectly in there. 4 feet long, full coverage. All right. There's another benefit with these LED lights. They don't put out as much heat that your fluorescent lights do. There was a time when I had my 8-bulb fluorescent grow light set up and I didn't need a heat mat because the heat from the lights was enough to warm the soil up, and I had to keep a thermometer nearby to make sure that I had the right temperature. These don't put out that much heat. So we're going to have to either get a heat mat or trust the ambient temperature in our environment here. It gets into the 70s, mid to high 70s in this room during the daytime, so that may be all we need. We will see. Now what I should do, instead of using these janky skewers, is to actually get some little S-hooks. But these are working for the time. It's what I have on hand, and that's what I'm going to go with for now. Now I could fit 2 more of these and really get some good light coverage, but I want to see if they work, what they look like, what the light intensity looks like. Yeah, let's plug them up. These are linkable. So make sure when you're setting them up that you put the ends in the way that, you know, you can just link it right in there. And then your other end over here goes down to the next one. And the last one will go into the wall, if that makes sense. So we're just daisy chaining these together. So let me get these 2 up under here. Okay. Well, I'd say they work. That's nice. That's a good amount of light. I don't feel a lot of heat coming off of here just yet. Leave them running for a little bit and see what kind of warmth we get. And I'll have to tweak some of my hangings there. And you can adjust these, of course. You can let them all the way down. But the trays I'm going to be starting seeds in are, about that high. And I've got one that will fill this whole thing. And I'll show you different ways to put trays on here, get them close to the light. Plants need a lot of light when they're growing. They need a lot more light than you think. And a setup like this will take care of several seed trays down on here, and I can get 2 across very easily. I could get a lot of seed tray, the Jiffy style trays. I could get 2 or 3 of them up here, no problem at all. So I think I'm going to like this setup, and I'm glad I got it put together. Well, would you look at that? There we go. I've got some tweaks I'm going to make to this system as I use it. You always want to adjust as you go. I'm going to wrap at least 3 sides of this with those Mylar reflective space blankets, and that will help keep moisture off my wall back here. But it will also help redirect at least some of the light that's bouncing off that wall to kind of focus it back into the plant area. Marginally, you don't have to use that. I never have in the past, but since I have this up against an interior wall, I want to protect that wall. So that's something you might be mindful of. You can put any number of arrangements of trays on here. I'm going to experiment, but I've got it done in my Haas Tools tray here. Looks like I could probably get 2 of them in here, and they would fit just right. So, yeah, I'm pleased. Let me show you what I'm going to be growing this year. Well, with winter gardening comes cabbage. I love cabbage, so I'm going to try to grow this premium, they call it a late flat Dutch, and I'm going to get these started in these trays because I need these to have a long growing season. I love cabbage. I know you can buy cabbage cheap at the store, but with with growing your own cabbage, you can grow varieties that you can't get at the store, like this one here. This is called Granat. This is a interesting looking cabbage, and I'm going to try growing some of this. It's supposed to be real tender and delicious, so we'll try that one. I've got this Komatsuna, which is a Asian green. It's a good season, the fall and winter here. Good season to grow Asian greens. You can't get away from growing carrots. I've got a couple of varieties of carrots here. I'm going to get some more from Seeds for Generations, the seed shop that I'm an affiliate of, and they've got some good seeds. I'm going to buy some there. I've grown this one before, this cauliflower. It's called Durgesh, and I grew great big heads of cauliflower that I could ship off to my daughter in Florida because she loves it so much, and I told her I'd give her some. Here's some more cabbage, a Chinese Hilton cabbage. I grew this before. It does great here. It survives all the freezes and frosts that we have here in Zone 9A on the Texas coast, and I made kimchi with this one. Absolutely delicious cabbage. This is my favorite radish. It's called Malaga. It's one of the two favorite radishes I have. Got to grow radishes in the winter. This gives you a quick turnaround of a real mild cabbage. They're dark purple on the outside. Their flesh is crystal white. Beautiful, beautiful radish. I'm going to grow this broccoli. This is a Italian broccoli. It's not one of the big heading broccolis. And I'm going to try to grow some broccoli. And here's some more greens, some Asian greens. I'm always trying different kinds of Asian greens. I don't know how to say these, but you can read it there. Asian greens are always fun for me to grow, and I do a lot of stir fry with them. So we're going to start some of these seeds in our seed trays, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll take you along when I do that. We do have videos every time the season starts, whether it's spring or fall. We do a seed starting video, and you can come along with me and see what we're up to and learn how to grow your own food. So, well, there it is. I know it's not a real interesting video. We didn't go outside into the garden and look around, but that's what we're doing right now. We're staying indoors. We're building things like the seed starting station, and we're going to start our seeds right here, and I will bring you along for that. So thank you for joining me. It's nice to be back. I hope to have more video content coming more frequently as we ease into the fall gardening season. Certainly we'll start some seeds, and I'll show you what I'm going to grow, and we can talk gardening in the comments. So thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, perhaps consider doing that. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I know we didn't go outside, but we're still doing gardening tasks here in the air-conditioned comfort of my spare room. So, hey, you guys have happy gardening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Finally, we're getting a couple days of rain, which we sorely need. My poor fruit trees out there have not grown more than a few inches this entire year because of this drought we've been having. They're about the same size, actually, and they're struggling. But a couple days of rain, very helpful.